for sunlight is like gold.
You probably saw today's guest on TV recently winning a 2012 Tony Award for his very first nomination, playing a guy that doesn't even have a name in the hit musical Once. Here he is, Steve Kazee.
How's it going? Thanks, man. Thanks
Good
for
to
having
see
me.
you.
Good to see you as well.
So, Tonys, I mean, like, yeah, you were like the star of the Tonys.
Wow. No, there were lots of stars at the Tonys.
You were a highlight of the Tony
Thanks.
Awards. Very,
Yeah.
very exciting.
Thanks. Yeah, it was an exciting night. for sure.
How's your ego? How you doing?
It's fine. Still
Yeah?
the same as it always has been, which is little to none.
How could having a moment like that not somehow get inside your brain and make you impossible?
Because you just got to always remember who you really are. Because like as wonderful of an honor as it is, and it is. It's the most amazing thing that's happened to me in my career so far. But you know, at the end of the day, like I still live in the same apartment. I still have the same friends. I still have the same family. I still like have the same clothes. Nothing really changes. So the next morning when you wake up and they come and take the Tony away from you to get it engraved, you're just right back where you started from. You don't really believe that the night happened anyway. So it hasn't really affected my ego in any way.
So you haven't dropped any of your friends yet?
No, I don't have that many. I don't have that many to drop. Sad.
So take me back. I want to relive this just a little bit. So Tony night.
Yeah.
You're sitting there.
Yeah.
Tough category.
Yeah, very tough.
So what's it like to actually be in that moment? I know you grew up watching moments like that, right?
Yeah,
And you
yeah.
see all the guys.
Yeah,
everyone's faces,
the
and
image
you're
boxes.
Waiting, yeah, and you're waiting to see who's going to get it. What's it like being one of those guys?
Yeah, it was a nerve-wracking night on a lot of levels. I mean, when I first got there, just sitting there waiting for the performance to roll around was nerve-wracking enough. You know, I mean, I just remember like feeling my throat just closing from just blood pressure and stress, and trying to enjoy the Tonys and trying to like just sort of be a part of the ceremony, and then all of a sudden you're whisked away to your dressing room. I'm in my costume, we're out there performing, whisked back to the dressing room, back in the tuxedo, and I'm sitting down in the audience, and it seemed like my category just came like right up after that. All of a sudden it was just like I saw the big letters. It was like best actor, leading actor in a musical, and I was like, oh God. And I just tried to remember that there was going to be a camera on me and like just relax and breathe. And I felt like I was not going to win. I know everybody says that, but I just felt like the momentum was going in other directions. And I saw all the polls and all the sort of predictions, and I thought, well, this is, you know.
Yeah, Broadway.com, we totally failed.
Yeah, I know, I saw it. I
wanted you to win, but
did you? Did you?
You know what? It's a tough category. A lot of good guys in that category.
That's true.
I do like Mr. Danny Burstein.
I do too. I like him a lot. And I tell you what, he is a classy guy. Has always been an amazing performer.
No, the truth is, I give the Tonys a lot of credit for recognizing your performance, because I think that it's a very subtle performance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I love it, but it's not necessarily showy in the way that you assume people give awards to.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, I predicted it wrong.
That's all right. I forget it.
But I'm glad I predicted it wrong. I'm glad you have a Tony Award.
Yeah. So, but anyway, so I'm sitting there, and when the names roll around, I was just like, please say my name right, because if I'm gonna lose, just at least, because once I was nominated for Helen Hayes, and I went all the way down to DC. I was so excited, sitting in the front row, and they were like, Steve Kazee, and I was like, really? Like, I came all the way down for this, and you can't even pronounce my name.
What was
right.
that for?
Subject was Roses at the Kennedy Center. It was like my first big thing out of school.
Right.
So anyways, so she's reading the names, she says my name, she says it right, and I was like, oh, great. And then I heard her say my name again, and this all happened like slow motion in your brain, because I've watched the telecast now, and you can't see it.
Right.
But I was like, oh my God, she said my name again, and I just remember dropping my head and like thinking, move, 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 you've only got 90 seconds, move. And I just went up and just let fly. I wasn't even sure what was coming out of my mouth. I was just like, don't swear, don't swear, don't swear. I was really worried about swearing.
But I'm really happy you cried. I like a crier. I hate when I watch an award show. There are a lot of good criers this year, but I hate when you watch an award show and nobody cries. It's like, come on, people.
I didn't have a lot of choice in the matter.
Yeah,
I tried to hold it together, but it didn't really happen. So.
It was a beautiful speech.
Thanks, man.
And I'm sure you also know that you won the Broadway.com Readers Poll as the favorite speech of the night.
I didn't know that.
That's
awesome.
kind of better
Thank
than
you.
winning the Tony.
Thank you very
You
much.
won a Broadway.com poll.
Yeah, absolutely.
You
Do I
were-
get an
you were the-
award for that? Do I get like a certificate or anything?
I'm sorry, no.
Dinner to Ruby Foos? Anything? All right.
I'm sure you knew that if you were going to get up there, you were probably going to lose your shit.
I thought I'd be able to hold it together, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I hold it together a lot lately.
Yeah.
And, but it was just the moment, the magnitude of the moment. When you're looking out at, 3 levels of people and literally levels.
Yeah.
And then different people that you've known your whole career and friends, and it was just really sort of, I see Audra McDonald sitting there beaming, and then I see Hugh Jackman, and that was surreal. It's just all that just sort of starts to sink in, and you just get emotional. You just have to let go. I'm not afraid of emotions. I like to cry. I'm a crier.
We've all known you've had a very emotional year, obviously.
Yeah.
And the New York Times wrote a very dramatic profile of you as well, talking about your very emotional year.
It made me seem a lot sadder than I actually am, though.
I was gonna ask you that. Yeah. Like I was wondering, like, how it felt. How does it feel to see things like that in print, or to watch your speech and to see you're definitely like sort of an open book right now.
Sure, I'm always that way though. Like I'll pretty much talk about anything. The things that I won't talk about is usually out of respect to someone else. But if it's about me personally, I mean, I don't care, because I'm very active in social media and things like that. So like I just put things out there, and that's the world that we live in these days. And you have two choices. It's just like with newspapers. You can start reading it on your computer or your iPad, or you can just stop knowing the news, because like newspapers are going to go away. It's just the way of the world. Yeah. You have to learn how to adapt, and we're in a world right now where there's just not a lot of privacy.
Right.
And so I think when you try to conceal everything, you just create a bigger issue, so which is why I just try to be open and honest about everything instead of dodging questions.
So what happens, another thing I don't know, because I've never won a Tony Award, what happens after? Do you communicate with any of the other guys in your category? Do you see any of them after?
Well, I saw most of them.
Do you dodge them at the Tony Ball?
No, because to me, and I've said this before, but I'm a fan first. And I have been, always will be.
We've seen the stage door photo of you.
Right.
Yeah.
So like to see Norm Lewis, who is for me one of the most lovely human beings in the world, and Danny Burston, who I've always loved his performances. I've never met him before, but his performance in Drowsy Chaperone I just thought was like incredible. Yeah. And then with Ron Raines, one of the first CDs I ever had was the recording of him and Karen Ziemba doing 110 in the Shade.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
And then Jeremy, who we've sort of talked on Twitter, but we don't really know each other at all. But seeing, that kid is. If I could sing like that and had those looks, I wouldn't worry about anything in my life. I'd just be like, So I got to get to see that show and give him some support. But like, to be there with those guys, people talk about it's an honor to be nominated, and I used to hate that. I used to hate that so much. I was like, come on, just say how you feel. But it's true. I didn't realize how true it is. But when it's you and four other guys, you just sort of look around and you're just kind of amazed at being there to be with those guys. But they were all really nice. I saw Jeremy,
them all after?
Saw Jeremy right after. The only one I haven't seen was Ron.
Right.
But I saw Norm, of course, and Danny. And Danny was so lovely to me. And I hope that in my situations where I'm on the other side, that I will remember those lessons and know how to be a lovely human being back, because it was really special.
Have there been any crazy sort of like people coming out of the woodwork moments?
That's been going on for a little while.
Yeah.
I'm almost like to the point of changing my outgoing message to say, hi, you've reached Steve Kazee. If I haven't talked to you in a year, do not ask me for house seats. Because it is literally, Facebook is, I can't even, I'm not really even on Facebook anymore, because it's just inundated with people that I haven't ever known who are now my best friends.
Right.
So.
You are on Twitter and you're on Instagram. You're one of the first Broadway stars on Instagram.
I was an early adopter.
You definitely were.
I was an early adopter. Instagram has brought me a lot of joy in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And people can see pictures of you on the toilet.
That's true.
I know you love to.
I have my boxers on though. Let's just say that. My boxers were on, just the pants were down.
Do you feel like you have to change your behavior now that you're a Tony? Now you're like A-list Broadway Tony Award winner, Steve Kazee?
I'm not. You clearly don't know me very well. I'm not A-list anything, and I'm not Broadway star. I'm just me.
Do you feel like you have a weight off your shoulder now, though? So here we go. Now Once is a hit, right?
I think it's actually more of a weight now, because I do feel like there's a sort of sense in the audience now of a leaning forward, like, okay, show us what you got, 8 Tony Awards. Right. So I do feel there's a little more pressure, but the great thing about this show and this cast and this crew over the Jacobs, and really everybody involved with the show, is there's never been any sort of, no one really is conceited about what we've got going on over there. It's actually been really wonderful to see that, and how we all just sort of came back on Tuesday night and started doing the show again. So, but there is a little bit of, you feel it from the audience more than anything.
I know that you have crazy female fans, and I actually witnessed a moment one time at a bar with you.
That's true.
A woman who lost her mind because she was near you.
And she didn't even know she was near me. That was the best part.
Yeah, she was like a foot away from you, and I said, "See, he's right here," and she lost her mind. It was a highlight for me. So, what kind of action is happening at the stage door, or what kind of women are coming up to you?
Well, it sort of ranges. We have a crazy stage door in the sense that like we literally get like teenagers, and we get people like middle like 20s, mid 30s, 40s, 50s. 60s, 70s, 80s, and then I'm like, where does this, like, what's our, I don't know what our target audience is, because it's just such a wild mix of people.
Yeah.
But definitely, I would say maybe a 45 to 55-year-old woman.
That's what I'm thinking.
Maybe divorced or maybe just single. Or maybe not.
A slight drinking problem, maybe?
Maybe pills. No, I don't know. No, they're all very lovely.
Yeah, I think it's a mom. I think you're gonna have the moms.
It's a little bit of a mom, yeah.
I think you're appealing to the moms.
Yeah.
So you're not taking advantage of any of these stage door
No.
Janes. What are they called when they're women? Stage door.
Stage door Jane, I guess, yeah. Jane, stage door Johnny.
We'll call them that.
Yeah.
That works for me.
It's fine.
Many people know that you dated Megan Hilty.
Right.
For many years. You were in many Broadway.com photo ops.
True.
So what is it like? It's interesting, Broadway fame. It's a very small world that you're in, and people sort of know that you're a couple. So what's it like to sort of go through a breakup like that?
Well, it's fine. You know, I don't really talk about it. She doesn't really talk about it. That's sort of just a choice between the two of us.
Right.
I have absolutely nothing but love for her as a person, as a human being, and as an actress. She is one of the most I've often said, and she knows this too, I just told her this recently, there's one person in the world that I never worry about, and that's her, because she changes a room when she comes into it. She changes everything about it. It was one of the first things that I noticed about her when I first met her, and she's just got this thing about her that infects everyone in the room, and then when she starts performing, it just, it just solidifies it. So she's going to be fine, and I'm going to be fine. Life is good.
Very sweet.
Yeah.
Do you watch Smash?
Yeah, I watched it. And
it must be exciting to see her.
It's so thrilling, man, and like for her especially, like I feel like, and I have no qualm saying this, and it's not playing favorites, I think she is really the standout on that show. I mean, I think she kills it consistently. I mean, she's amazing.
You're both.
That number, that early on Marilyn number in that red dress, oh my good Lord, I was like blown. I was just so proud of her. She was amazing.
It's amazing that both of you are having these great things happening to you this year.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
It's good. Yeah.
I also know, because of the New York Times, very, very exposing story about you. You grew up in a trailer.
I did, yeah.
In Kentucky.
Yeah.
Is it fair to say you grew up poor?
Oh, dirt poor.
Dirt poor.
Like waiting in line for government cheese and and bread and food stamps and like dirt poor.
I guess I'm trying to figure out how you come from that, and especially when you start going into like performing arts. Performing arts kids are sort of spoiled kids. Yeah. You kind of think of them that way.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know, man. I've just been used to always being poor, and that sort of fits right in with being an actor. You know, you learn how to adapt, and you know, the thing. I think the common misconception with being in a hit show on Broadway or being a lead in a Broadway show is that you make massive amounts of money.
Right.
You know, I have had a lot of new family members who have reached out to me who think that like I'm just rolling in the dough, living in some McMansion over in Jersey, and you know, but it's just not the case.
People are asking you for money?
I mean, money, favors, things like that. They're people who, you know, I've not seen in 25 years or whatever. It's crazy.
That's insane.
Well, you know, when you're on television, people get this weird idea in their brains that you must have a ton of money.
Right.
It's the craziest idea in the world. So yeah.
Wow, so you can't loan me $100 right now?
I could, but I'd be broke all week probably.
But you have that Tony.
Well, no, I don't have it. They take it away.
When do you get it?
The cruelest joke. Like 2 weeks, I think. It's like they send somebody the very next day to take it. I was like, what? I did hear that Audra McDonald didn't give hers back yet, though. Will told on you.
Let's talk about Audra McDonald, because you were awesome in 110 The Shade.
Thanks, man.
Opposite Audra, and I was so frustrated. I mean, you didn't get much attention for that.
No, and I think it's again, one thing about me is I love to read everything about shows. I mean, I love to hear what people are saying, and yeah, I mean, there are times where I'm stung by things that are written about me or whatever, but at the end of the day, like, I like to know what people really think, and oftentimes I find myself actually agreeing with some of the criticisms or critiques of things that I've been. I mean, I've been some stinky shows. I mean, that's just a fact. And there are stinky shows out there, and there
Are we talking about To Be or Not to Be?
I'm
that one
not
did kinda
mentioning
stink.
any
I don't usually say
specific
that.
shows.
Water under the bridge.
Yeah.
Are you saying that you now don't think you were good in 110 to Shea? Is that what you're telling me?
I don't think that I wasn't. It's not that I think that I wasn't good. I think I wasn't ready to play that part.
Really?
Yeah, on a lot of levels.
Interesting.
I'm proud of it, and it's always will be one of my most fondest memories. But looking back on it from a critical point of view, I'm just not sure that that it was the right time for me to play that part.
Okay.
Thrilled that I got to, and happy with the way it all turned out. But I know now that me being this guy today, 36 years old, could bring a lot more to it than I did at the time.
Interesting.
So that's my sort of feeling about it.
Will Swenson was your understudy, and look at that, they hooked up.
I know, right?
They had a nice moment on the Tonys too.
Yeah, that was beautiful. I mean,
You all cried. All three of you cried on the Tonys.
It was an emotional night, especially, I mean, we were all sitting right together, and it's hard to not have that memory of that time come back and to see everyone succeeding so much. And I actually just saw him in Priscilla last night because I had to see it before it closed.
Would you ever do that? Would you ever do that crazy drag?
I'd love to.
Yeah?
I was in a show, I was in pageant.
You did pageant?
Yeah.
Who were you in pageant?
Once I was Frankie Cavalier, and then they called me like, I think it was like a year later.
Frankie
maybe.
Cavalier's not in drag.
No, hold on.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
no. But they called me like a year later, and they're like, hey, we lost our Tawny Joe Johnson. Would you want to come and play Tawny Joe? And I was like, absolutely. So I went and did the full-out drag. There are pictures floating around on
Can
Facebook,
those
I think.
pictures maybe... Okay, well, maybe we'll show a picture right now.
Yeah, you might.
Maybe
yeah.
we're going to be looking for it before
And
you
take
take
the
it down. I'm going to get to a computer quicker than you do,
Yeah, I
and
know.
I'm going to find that picture.
Yeah, it's all right. It's out there in the world.
I love that. So you'd be totally cool with that?
Yeah, I love it. Drag shows are one of my favorite things in the world.
Okay, well, explain that.
Well, as a straight man, I love going to A, drag shows, B, gay bars, because I love the music and I like to just... My favorite thing about gay bars is people will just dance. And there's no sort of like aggression about it, like nobody's gonna get into a fight, and everybody just dances. One of my favorite times in the world, actually, was a couple years ago. I went on a birthday bar crawl and ended up at the Monster, in the basement of the Monster, just dancing until like 5 in the morning. So anyways, but I love drag shows because it's such a specific art form, and it really is an art. I mean, I don't think people understand how much of an art it actually is. And I just love it.
Do you watch Drag Race?
Well, I don't, because that to me seems a little like a comical take on it. I'm very serious about my drag shows. So I don't want to see RuPaul up there joking around about it.
You might want to check out Drag Race. There's some tears on Drag Race.
Really?
Oh yeah, yeah, it gets deep.
That's why I liked Priscilla last night so much. I was like, yeah, I'm a big drag
If
queen
anyone
fan.
is watching this and not believing that Steve Kazee likes gay bars, I've actually been to a gay bar. Yeah.
I mean, it's just, you know.
There were no drag queens, but there were strippers.
I am very much, one of my favorite things about myself, someone once told me, is that if you Google me, the second result is gay.
I saw that today.
I
Steve
love
Kazee,
that.
gay.
I love that. You know why? Because I am a very vocal person in my support of gay rights, and will be until the end of time.
Yeah.
And I will be the. I often think that as a straight person, it is my duty to stand up and say that I am in support of LGBT issues, because straight people are the people who are oppressing the LGBT community. And so until that mindset changes, it's never going to change. And so for me, I've always, a lot of times I'll hashtag my tweets with straight against hate, things like that. And so, you know, I love the community with all my heart. So I just...
There's not a drop of bad in you. You're just like the nicest guy. It's so annoying, kind of.
Don't get me on any bourbon. I get a little mean on bourbon.
Well, we have to do that next time.
Yeah.
We have to put that in those cups, in those Broadway.com mugs.
It's my go-go juice.
So obviously you have some drag fantasy roles, dream drag roles. We won't talk about those, but is there any other like classic roles you sort of have your eye on?
I would love to do a Sam Shepard play.
Interesting.
I did Buried Child in college,
Right.
which I love a lot, but True West, of course, is one of my favorite plays of his.
Who would you want to do True West with?
That's a good question.
Which guy would you want? Who would you be? Or are you gonna switch it up like?
Well, we might do like the switch up. That'd be really cool to do the switch up
every
too.
night play a different one.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, Malkovich's performance. If you've ever seen that I think it was like Great Performances or something like that. I mean, it would be hard to ever play that role and try to. But I'd love to take it on. I mean, he's just.
What would you do if John Malkovich showed up at once and like, would you like lose your mind?
I'd lose my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's amazing. I like a lot of sort of oddball kind of actors. I'm not much for the, although I do have like a massive like talent male like boy crush on Ryan Gosling. Oh my God, like that guy is in like every movie that I want to be in, and he's terribly charming or whatever. But I think that, like, I like the Daniel Day-Lewises of the world. I like the Dennis O'Hares. Those are the actors that I really sort of respect. As those sort of, they're leading men, but they're also character actors, and they get these gritty, deep, like like a Philip Seymour Hoffman or someone like that. John C. Reilly, like guys can like really dig into these parts, and so I don't know.
So you're not looking for just classic romantic leading guy stuff.
No.
Because you have the looks, but you want to do. You want to be a weirdo.
I like a little meatier things.
Yeah.
I don't like the surfacey sort of like love story stuff.
Okay.
I mean, I'll take it if I can get it. But
what about TV and film? Want to do more of that?
Yeah,
I know you spent
definitely.
a few years in Hollywood.
Yeah, film is the.
I saw you on your show Working Class,
Yes.
which was like a country sitcom, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was sort of. Well, it was like working blue collar.
Right.
Sort of. Yeah, I like doing a sitcom, but it's not what I would want to spend my life doing. I'd rather do something, like a Breaking Bad or a Lost or Game of Thrones or something a little more meatier and something a little deeper. True Blood, something like that.
Okay.
True Blood's my favorite show in the world. So
these are all good. I like all these.
Yeah.
All right, so why don't we get on one of those shows?
I'd love to be a werewolf. It'd be amazing.
Would you do that?
Totally.
Would you take it all off like they?
Well, once I get myself into that kind of shape, yeah. I wanted to do Broadway Bears this year, but I just could not get myself into shape for it. I was like, that's too much.
You got to hit the gym before.
I mean, those guys and those girls, their bodies are like carved out of stone.
Yeah.
That's not me. I'm carved out of like silly putty.
So you're just being more and more charming by the minute.
Please.
Oh, Steve Kazee, what a nice guy.
Please.
Bourbon next time, bourbon.
Absolutely.
So I want to thank you publicly for taking our viewers backstage.
Absolutely.
To Once for your video blog.
It was my pleasure.
Guitar Hero, which we loved seeing every week. Was it fun to do that?
It was. It was great because I like, again, it's like a social media thing, but I like being able to connect directly to the audiences that are coming to the shows.
Can we also start a rumor that video blogs help win Tonys?
Sure.
Let's start
Or
that.
also working with me, because Audra,
yeah.
Michael, Christian, James and I, we hosted the Stevie Awards together, which was a business administrations award at the Marquis Marriott.
When was that?
It was while he was doing History Boys
History
and I was
Boys?
doing Spam-A-Lot. It was literally like, and the award for best regional manager, like in ink pen sales, goes to. It was the weirdest thing I've ever been asked to do.
What was the hottest race that night?
I think it was like, marketing versus the PR team of like a local hospital or something. It was unbelievable.
You also.
But what's amazing is when they won, it was as if they had won a Tony. I mean, it was like run up to the stage and like, I'd like to thank, my accountant, and I'd like to thank the guys who like fix the books and all that. I was like, what is happening? It's the weirdest thing ever.
It really helps you put everything in context, doesn't it?
Yeah,
In every world,
Yeah.
there's the height, there's the top award.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Absolutely, man.
Mr.
Thanks for having
Kazee.
me.
It's good to see you.
Good to
We're
see
all
you as
thrilled
well.
for you.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.